Session to order. Start with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we will start with a moment of silence. James Ayers from Delphi Falls, so a moment of silence. Member of the fire department, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, a little bit of a switch in the order. We have the presence of our county legislator, very supportive county legislator, Dave Knapp, and we're gonna put him ahead. He has some good news to broadcast tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so good news, couple of different things. First and foremost, most of you should be aware of, several years ago, working with our county executive, I was able to secure $15 million to initiate a broadband program in our county to hook up everybody that didn't have broadband, high-speed internet. And so we did a massive survey to try and find out where the gaps were. We had thousands of responses to that, and we identified about 3,000 households, and then another, I think, 1,800 businesses or so across the county. A lot of them being obviously down in our neck of the woods. And so we put out an RFP about a year and a half ago, had several responses, and Verizon Fios actually had the best package that we thought. They actually are putting in up to $7 million of their own money to do this project. So many of you may have seen Verizon trucks around a lot, stringing.
If I could interrupt.
Sure, of course.
Is this a countywide thing or just our district?
Countywide,
Yeah, okay.
the whole county,
Yeah.
yes,
All right,
absolutely. But again, most of it being down in our area. Yeah, I've been talking about this with Brian and others for a long time, but the pandemic really brought to light the issue down here, especially between kids having to try to do school remotely, folks trying to work remotely from their homes, and not having the broadband coverage to help. And so anyway, as I said, Verizon Fios won, and they've been stringing fiber optic cable all over the place down here. And so the good news is they are done with the build out, all the infrastructure is in place. And so we're trying to get the word out to folks that if you don't have broadband internet at your home right now, go ahead and the easiest way, you can call Verizon or just Google Verizon Fios, and it'll pop right up, put your address in, and you can sign up for the program. And they'll schedule an installation for you, run it to your house, the whole 9 yards. We do have low-income programs as well, and senior citizens. And so I think folks will be very happy with the pricing structure that we have as well. So
does this, if I may, does
Yeah.
this give people who are already on Spectrum a choice?
So the way it works is the goal of the program was to get to all those folks that have nothing, right? Okay?
Yeah.
However, to get to those places, they had to, like, they went up Route 20, for example. So anybody on Route 20, whether you have, and these other roads that they went on to get to these spots that didn't have it, again, you can put your address in, and it will tell you if it's available to you. So yeah, you can have another provider and switch, but that isn't as, and I envision Verizon as well. Now that they're here,
Right.
slowly,
Marketing.
building out their infrastructure down here.
So you go to the Verizon website to find
Yeah,
out?
go to Verizon or Verizon Fios.
Yeah, okay.
FIOS. Now, if you do not have, if folks don't have high-speed internet at their home, They go to Verizon Files, they put in their address and it says, it's not available, call us and we'll get it to you. Because the agreement with Verizon was every single house, in the county would have high-speed broadband internet. I know out in Manlius, there was a house where they ran a mile of fiber optic cable for one house to get it to them, so.
And I know somebody who they totally avoided her house, went down 2 ways and avoided hers.
Oh, yeah.
So when you say call us.
So call the legislature, 435-2070, ask for Jim Beebe, he's one of our staff people down there, he's keeping a list of folks, then we can go back to Verizon and, say, hey, we missed one, run it to their house, so.
So Dave, the whole goal of the program was to bring broadband internet services to people that don't have it, and the main reason they didn't have it was the remoteness in various
Geographic,
parts
yeah,
of the
totally.
county.
Spectrum and whoever, they're paying for their buck,
Right.
so a lot of these side roads, what happened a lot is when they built out years and years ago, they would go down a road or up a road and then stop, but since then, houses have been built in the middle. And so, and of course, you call one of those companies and say, well, you string it to us and it's $70,000 or something, ridiculous, so.
That's great news.
So, so definitely, we're trying to get the word out for folks to sign up. And, I know a lot of folks who are already up and running and are very happy with it. The Fios is obviously a very, very good product with the,
Maybe we can get something on that on our website.
Please,
To just,
yeah, that'd be great. That's, like I said,
With the
that's why I'm here.
directions, like what to do.
just to contact, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to,
Yeah, just, Google Verizon Fios and,
great.
get signed up.
Yeah, well, Dave, thanks, on behalf of the town, I just wanna say thanks, and I'm sure everybody in the county appreciates it, but
Yeah,
it's,
no, it's been
More
really good,
importantly for
especially,
us.
Fabius, Tully, but I mean, in Pompey, there were lots in places that we wouldn't even expect. Down on Ransom Road, for years, that was a dead spot down there.
That's
And,
Janesville, really.
well populated down there, just never got down that road. So anyway, so that's good news. Also, real quick, we announced a agritourism grant program, a couple of months ago. And I'm happy to announce that, I've secured, money for 9 different, small farms. And actually some not so small, but, in Pompey, which is the most of any town in the county. So almost $150,000 to promote agritourism. So, any of these farms, we're trying to diversify a little bit and, encourage, some tourism. That's an untapped resource, in the county, that we're trying to encourage. And so, so we got 9 farms that have been approved for that. And most have received the money, a few are still, will be getting it very shortly. And then, also our Main Street program, where we'll be announcing, the folks who are gonna be awarded that. Several businesses in the town have,
Yeah, we have announced it, we're just waiting for the funding, and I just signed
Exactly.
a document this morning, and so I expect the
so,
money to flow
all good stuff.
hopefully
All
very
good stuff.
shortly.
So, so far so good. We're getting into our budget time at the county, so, it'll be a busy fall, but, all good so far.
Awesome,
All
thanks.
right, appreciate
Thanks,
the time.
Thanks for everything, David, and, we haven't talked about it yet, thanks for helping us with the sign of Delphi.
Yeah, Delphi Falls.
Oh, yeah.
We finally got that through. It's taken too long, but, we're able to secure $25,000 for, the Delphi Falls Fire Department to put up a nice digital sign. Like some of the other departments around have been doing to see what's going on in the community, so.
Yeah, it's great.
it's-
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thanks again.
Did you design that?
All right, I guess we're ready for public comments.
Amy,
I'm ready tonight.
thank you very much.
How are you? So my public comment tonight is on public comments. We,
Appropriate.
yeah, isn't it? So, because of family reasons, I haven't been here in a few months, and I can't get back to the public meetings now, and it's moved to the front of the line. And I think that I'm not sure why, you probably had your reasons, but, putting it in the front of the line, we don't get to talk about what we're talking about at the meeting because we haven't gone through it yet. So I think that it should be put back to where it was so that we can actually have the public comments at the end after we have, talked about whatever it is that month that the town is going to talk about.
If you happen to read the rules of decorum,
Mhm.
okay, the preferred way to communicate and with this board, if you have a town-related issue, is to contact us directly. And we will be happy to address whatever goes on in a meeting very shortly after that meeting, okay?
So take your word for it, because it's been a while since I've done that, but I have emailed the board.
Perfect.
Great.
All right,
Well,
thank you.
welcome back.
Thank you.
Well, I second that comment, because I've heard from a lot of people, they really do not like the public comment at the beginning. But what I'm here to ask you about today is, if you could consider, last meeting, we heard a lot about Heritage Hill, and how there were only a few people affected, there's a lawsuit, but that actually isn't true. There are quite a few people affected, and there's quite a few people in lawsuit, it's costing the town a lot of money. We need to compromise, we need to keep, I think a good compromise, not a noise ordinance, so to speak, but keep everything inside, keep all the music inside, the bands inside. I live right next to a venue, you know, like 2 houses over from a venue, and they have weddings there, you know, in the summer, and the most I can hear is a little bit of bass. That's how I know there's a wedding. I don't hear loud music, everything's kept in their event barn, the neighbors are happy, you know, I don't see why that couldn't be done up at Heritage Hill. And then avoid any more, because those people haven't given up, clearly, they keep coming to meetings, they're gonna keep on this, they're not gonna give up their suit. So, clearly, it's gonna cost the town a lot more money, it's gonna cause a lot of disruption in the neighborhood, you know, it's not just a few people, I mean, people are willing to put up their own money, they're paying twice. They're putting up their own money for the lawsuit, and they're paying taxes to pay the attorneys. And so, you know, that's a costly endeavor for them. So they really are serious, and they have been shut down at meetings in the past. If you doubt me, go back to last summer. The planning board meetings, the Hefflers were cut off. A lot of people got to talk, and then the Hefflers were just in, and most of you were there, because you were running for office, and I remember seeing most of you there. So I'm sure you remember how the chair of the planning board shut down comment, you know. So I just think, instead of a noise ordinance, I know that's very unpopular, but if the board would please consider, you know, having at least, you know, restricting like outside, or, you know, no more outside venues, have it inside the buildings, and they have an event barn, so it shouldn't be a problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deb.
That's it. Okay. Let's see. Next, we have the accountant's report. Our accountant was unable to attend tonight, so we need to make a motion to first approve the supervisor's report.
I'll make a motion, we approve the supervisor's report.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Do you need a copy to sign, Mark, to turn back to him?
I take it,
Thank you.
please.
We need a motion to also approve the bank reconciliation for the supervisor's checking account for July 2024.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the bank reconciliation reports for July 2024.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. The New York class, the interest-bearing account that we put the money in, extra checking balances, We earned $11,115 in July, bringing the total interest year to date to a fairly noticeable $74,287. We're looking good versus the budget at this time, so no modifications necessary. We still need to, and I know we've been on everybody's tough to juggle vacation schedule, but we do need to finalize our, at least where we're going to commit the ARPA, the remaining $238,526 in ARPA money by the end of the year. And we're gonna start the budget process, and more detail to follow on that. So I guess, we need to approve anything else on that?
Not for night class.
Okay, great. So next is the clerks.
Wait, we just need a budget modification. We need,
Yeah. For the 25,000.
Okay.
that's it, but not for the night class, just for the budget transfer.
So, in order to, Diana mentioned the sign in Delphi Falls. In order to be reimbursed for that, we actually needed to pay out the invoice and then have a check to show that they're being reimbursed, so that's the, what is the amount, 25?
It's a little under 25, it's 24 and change, 24,520, I think.
It's right here.
It's a little under 25,000.
Yeah, we went and made it underneath the line, but,
It's the last voucher though. It should be the last voucher.
yeah, it is the last voucher, isn't it?
Before the phone stuff.
Maybe a little harder. Is there a copy of the abstract in there somewhere? Cause it will be on the abstract. Does anyone have the abstract?
Yeah,
Goes to the top.
but it was the last one.
Yeah, I saw it.
Well, he has it listed here as
24,500.
25.
I know, it's 24,500 something.
I think it's 520, 24,520. But it's on the abstract, it's gotta be floating around, 'cause
Where's it gonna be transferred, where we gotta transfer it from?
it's gonna come from the SF 2706 grants from local government to the fire protection.
Alright,
He has it listed here as 25,000 rounded up, so
And then, once we get reimbursed, does that revert back in?
yes. County will reimburse us, so who's gonna make a motion?
I'll make a motion to, for a budget modification to transfer the 25,000, from the grants. Grants for local governments for the fire protection contractual, to the fire protection contractual.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay,
Alright, now you good
now
for me?
it's yours.
Okay,
Yes.
so if you guys have had the chance to review my draft, I'm looking for acceptance of the July 9th, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the July 9th, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
And I will second that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
And so if you had a chance to review my bank reports, I'm looking for approval for the bank reconciliation reports for both my town clerk and tax collector accounts for July of 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve those reconciliation accounts, they're down that way somewhere.
Right here.
Perfect.
Okay. Any
Need a
further
second?
I'll
discussion?
second
Need a
it.
second?
I'm sorry.
Bill, you second
Yep.
it? Bill Light
Discussion?
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Motion carried.
All right, and if you reviewed the vouchers I prepared, I'm looking for a motion to have the payment of bills.
Yep. I'll make a motion that we pay the bills based on the vouchers we all just signed.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion? Sounds like there is, or
I'm
looks
sorry,
like there
no.
is.
This one, I don't know where that comes from. So These haven't been signed yet, but I would say, and then this one, if you just wanna go over with it.
Okay.
Later, so I'm having a hard time
With
finding
the math, okay,
the oddball amount, but just, maybe you can just point them out to me.
okay, yeah, I'll work on that. I'm sorry, who seconded that motion?
I think I said it.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion outside of the street light? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
That's it for me.
Thank you.
Yep.
VR,
Yes, sir.
what do you have?
We're in the middle of paving in the Pompey Pines. We finished today Arbutus, Killarney, and started on Corsica. And we'll hopefully finish Corsica in the upper portion of Trout Valley tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be a long day. But, we've stirred things up a little bit down there, so I apologize for any inconvenience down there. But hopefully we'll be in and out tomorrow and be done. The Mack truck is at Henderson Equipment waiting for a PTO pump that is back ordered, but should be in by the end of September, so hopefully we'll see it before the end of the year, fingers crossed. Also, our medium duty Chevrolet that we had ordered is at MDI getting equipped in Auburn as we speak, and hopefully we'll see that 6 to 8 weeks.
PR, is that pump truck the vacuum thing? Vacuum truck?
PTO, no, this is the pump that runs the PTO hydraulics on the truck, actual truck
Gotcha.
system. And for some reason it's back ordered, so. So MDI, that's the 6,500. It looks like we have another SAM grant opportunity through John Lemenda's office. Mark sent me today, so Mark and I are gonna be working on that, hopefully get some money towards another piece of equipment. But as you know, that takes, what's the last one, 2 years or something, but.
A little rough, but
Yeah,
it'd be nice to have it in.
Yep. Absolutely. And then lastly, I'm looking for board approval to attend the New York State Association of Town Superintendents of Highways Annual Conference, September 25th through the 27th, at the Holiday Valley Resort in Ellicottville. I have paperwork here for Mark to sign upon your guys' approval. It's actual travel request form that we have to fill out.
Okay.
With that,
I make a motion to approve the travel request for this.
Well, I've seen the travel request. Make a
Us-
motion for you to attend the conference, that's fine. I haven't seen the travel request, so I don't.
it's coming your way.
Okay.
Mark's got it right here.
I second that.
That's all I got.
Any, anybody opposed?
No, it's a long trip, you better bring
All in
one.
favor?
They supply it.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, I guess we need to approve the code officer's report. Somebody review that?
Got a lot going on.
No, it doesn't have to be that, it's just, it's a trade request.
Like a lot of people are taking advantage of the nice weather.
We need a motion to approve that.
I think we should probably do that, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the code officer's report.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, supervisor's report, that would be me. We need to, consider, I guess, the appointment or the, appointment for Debbie Lapp, who was the former deputy town clerk, right here, does a lot for the town. She, wants to be appointed to the, Board of Ethics, so. Anybody have issue with that? I will make a motion to appoint Debbie to the Board of Ethics.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
Was there a vacancy or we're just adding somebody?
There was a vacancy. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, so this is just a beginning of a discussion we're having here on the board. Some of you may have noticed, we have an enforcement capability, or I guess we have limited enforcement capability in this town. And I had one of our town residents approach me a number of months ago about the possibility on a part-time basis becoming the constable for this town. And thinking, okay, maybe that's a way to bring on more capabilities to enforce what we're unable to enforce with a part-time codes enforcement officer now. And at the same time, even save the town some money, what we're currently providing for law enforcement. And this would be on an as-need basis. I know in the past, we tried to have a codes or a constable. I think the difference here is we have a very experienced, capable candidate, as opposed to in the past, individuals who had no experience, needed training, and quite frankly, probably weren't vetted nearly well enough. So that's my beginning of the discussion. It would certainly save us money. It's about half the hourly rate, a little over half the hourly rate that we're currently paying. And it may even be less than that if you factor in the travel of the people we currently hire, the Onondaga County sheriffs. So it would give us, for the less or the same amount of what we're currently allotting, more enforcement hours to take care of some other enforcement needs. So I think it's worth consideration.
So, can we ask questions?
Absolutely.
So what would this person be enforcing? Would they do speeds? We talked
Well,
about speed.
So it'd be as made, no, it wouldn't be speeding, it would be, again, and I have yet to see our two esteemed judges in the room. I've yet to discuss it with them, but, I mean, I have spoken, this is somebody who has ranked experience qualifications. I've spoken to the officers they sent up here for court night. This guy's probably more, in my humble opinion, more qualified than what we currently have showing up for our court night.
Okay.
So,
I have questions too, Dave, when you're done.
Yeah.
I would also, I mean, before we did anything, I would have him meet and be interviewed by board members and the judges as well.
So when you say enforcement, when I think of a constable, my concern is, do we want to be in the policing business in general? And I need to get my head wrapped around a constable and what that person does versus a sheriff who does policing stuff all the time. So that's something I'm gonna need to understand as we go through.
This is, right now, we do enforcement on an as-need basis. And about the only thing since I've been in office that we've as needed or had the Onondaga County Sheriff that we are paying anything for is for court night.
Okay.
Okay, we asked the Onondaga County Sheriff to help us out with our site plan sound ordinance in Pompey at Heritage Hill, and that is out of their jurisdiction. They do not do that. So,
Can I, I'm sorry to interrupt, it's probably important for the discussion for everyone, when the issue was raised with constable. The good news for the town of Pompey is that there is an existing local law in the Pompey code Bad news is that I think what you're looking to do with it may need an amendment to the local law. And let me explain to you why, so that everybody can follow along here. Chapter 13 of the code talks about constables, and it has two different types of constables. One is a town constable, in short, is not allowed to carry a firearm. I don't know why, the
Okay.
code says what
Yeah,
it says. There's a second type of constable, a police constable. That is one that the town can appoint a police constable, and they're allowed to carry a firearm. And police constables are required to go through the training that peace officers, the candidate clearly qualifies for that. And I think what you're looking at
Yeah, probably the latter.
is probably somebody
Cer-
that
certainly
can carry a
the latter.
firearm.
I would,
The difficulty with that is then, when you go to chapter 4 of the code,
of our code or the
of the
state?
Pompey code.
Yeah, so we would need so you would need amendment.
Yeah.
And that's
and-
possible, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Any amendment to a local law is possible. The way it's written right now, for designation of authorized public servants, in order to enforce, it defines building inspectors, zoning enforcement officer, or code enforcement officers. They can issue tickets and things of that nature in relation to building, zoning, and planning, fire prevention and safety, public health, safety, and welfare, the whole, like
Right.
what you would expect the code enforcement.
Right, what he's currently doing.
It does not, number one, doesn't provide for a police constable to be able to issue any type of tickets. It only says a town constable, and then it says can only issue tickets for parking, public health, safety, and welfare.
Yeah,
So you would have,
so we're gonna have to modify and figure that out.
just so everybody's aware, you would probably have to do the public hearing if you wanted to modify the law and change the local law. So that's where things stand right now.
That's
Okay,
good to know.
thanks.
Alright, so I have a series of questions. I am going to say up front that right now I am not for this. We really have to have some discussion, okay? So you're talking about canceling the sheriffs who can do all of the
Well,
things,
so we're not canceling it, we get them on an as-need basis.
but
So,
you said we're saving money by not using the sheriffs because they're twice the cost.
Mhm.
What can you,
we currently pay 90
$92.
plus, don't we play mileage or, yeah, so it's,
We pay like $92 an hour.
yeah,
for
we're including their
enforcement.
drive time, and they've come as far away as Elbridge. So, you know, it's basically double the current amount that this guy would be costing us.
would he be considered a subcontractor or an employee of the town?
It would be an employee of the town.
Okay, and then what happens as far as cost savings, what happens to our liability insurance?
It's $1,325 a year,
Extra.
that's it. Prorated if you bottom on, no other benefits. No other-
I don't know. I haven't
No
spoken to
requirement for any other benefits.
Yep. You've got this itemized list of startup costs of all of this equipment.
Mhm.
But why would we be purchasing their firearm? You know, all of this equipment, they would have their own based on what you're saying. And are we as a town,
Well, if you notice, that's in red, that's not, and again, it's part of the discussion.
but that's what I'm doing. I'm
Yeah, I don't know, I don't know,
Okay?
I don't know. I don't know whether we would by law be required to. That may be the case, that's why,
Well, I don't
Put
see
it
the
down? I don't know.
town of Pompey going into the gun shop and applying to buy
I
it.
don't know what we did in the past, but I don't know, I don't really
I
know
know
that.
back when we had the constable before, when Carol Marsh was here, she wanted my husband to be the constable, so she actually helped get his pistol permit carry the whole 9 yards, and then it didn't come to fruition anyway. So we used to have the constable here, but it didn't work for whatever reason.
Well,
So I think we need to figure out why it didn't work.
well, those guys, weren't policemen before. They had no enforcement experience. Have you seen the resume here?
Well, and that brings me to another question. If we have a position that we would want to appoint to somebody, wouldn't we have to take in applications? You're honing in on one individual person and creating a constable position for one person. Somebody else may be interested.
I'm not aware, again,
I-
perhaps, I
Discussion.
don't know.
Just discussion, okay? But, it's, I think there's, and going into these codes, we'd have to really review these codes before we did this, and this cost savings, I would really want to know again how the cost savings would come into play versus now, are we gonna be calling them in for how many hours, and are we hiring this guy simply so he can go up and see what's going on at Heritage Hill? Because I'm not an advocate of hiring a constable because we have one place that we have a problem with. It would
If
have
you
to
add up
be
the
a
costs.
Townwide
If
kind
you
of
add up
thing.
the costs, okay, right now, we're on track to pay about $11,000 for law
To-
enforcement, just
sheriff.
to show up here, okay?
Uh,
We, even factoring in all the upfront costs, even if you include both the weapons, the taser, and we would still save about $1,000 in the first year, even if you, which amounts to almost 20 extra hours that they could be doing something else. Again, if we felt the need, we don't need to do it. And in a normal year, and that's not even, in a year where you don't pay the upfront costs, it's over 50 extra hours it equates to. Before we reach the cost we're paying right now just to show up to court.
And do we have a signed contract with the sheriffs that we have to uphold?
No,
I thought we,
As
for some reason, I thought we had an
not
annual
with my,
contract.
not according to my conversation with our contact.
Okay.
Could we maybe get the judge's opinion? I'm just curious.
I will
I'm
get that
just-
afterwards, okay?
Well, Ralph just raised his hand, he wanted
I
to say
can talk to him
something.
offline, okay?
Okay, sorry, Ralph. Tried.
The,
And you can talk to them afterwards. Go ahead.
You got more or no?
No, I'm just saying, I'd be interested in what Ralph had to say too, so.
Well, I'd like to hear, but I'd like to, the sheriffs come right now for each court night, correct?
Yes,
Alright, and the constable would take the place of the sheriff at
if
that.
we felt,
And I guess
if we felt the need to do so.
I guess my, you know, and obviously, my biggest thought would be, what are the judge's opinions on having a constable
Yeah,
versus,
we'll-
you know, that's just a
check that out.
discussion, they can, but that is
Yeah.
one thing I would think about. Another is, I mean, I'm still wrapping my head around what exactly they would be doing or could not be doing versus the sheriff.
Well, for instance, instead of having no answer to people that say, we need more enforcement here, we have somebody that we can actually say, yes,
So it would be
can
kind of,
you go check that out?
this would be kind
Who's
of
actually,
to help the codes guide on codes violations, or is it?
Well, no, because it says right in the code that you can't issue tickets for codes.
just the codes guy can issue tickets for codes,
Right,
but
right.
I think the point is, it could ultimately be, the law could be amended if we follow whatever.
But I'm just, you know, I'm thinking of the Heritage Hill situation, that basically is a codes violation
well,
thing, so.
somebody that we changed, amend the rules, that they could go up there and say, hey,
Alright,
You
and
guys-
you know, I'm just.
we're
trying
obviously
to-
incapable of going up there enough to appease the people that feel as though that they're being infringed upon by the noise.
Right.
We don't have the time to do it, our code enforcement, and we have no other solution that I'm aware of.
I mean, I like the idea of having an official person that can, you know, cause, yeah, we can go up there with a thing, but are we considered official enough to say, oh, this is our, what that reader said, is that, are we legit enough to stand up in a court situation saying, oh, we saw this reader? Where if you had
Right,
someone with some type of a police or codes background saying, yup, I read this sound level at this X time of day on this day. I mean, that's what I think they're asking for, or maybe, I don't know what they're, that's, I see the need for that, but I, again, don't wanna, do a whole position on, for one thing that may or, may not be really having the violations that we don't know. I mean, I wanna hear more
we've
about
got
this.
some people that are pretty sure. That usually show up here.
And there's, I mean, we had just this one guy interested in this, that we've got kind of along her line of making this position for this one particular guy. Now, if that changes and all of a sudden he's not there, are we now left with I feel like we should make this position on more than just a one guy thing. If this is the direction we're going, we should have
The way I feel about it,
other
if
applications.
you look at his resume,
I mean,
we should be so lucky that somebody like this with this type of credentials wants to do
I'm not
this.
saying the guy's not qualified.
I'm not either.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at you, it's like, if you're gonna have a codes
Again,
enforcer,
again,
when one leaves, you wanna be able to, yep, there's another one for that place. So
James,
you wanna have
it's on an as-need. So if we're not able to find somebody capable afterwards, we go back to the as-need with the sheriff. Or if it doesn't,
Mark, when you go to the town, was it the town meetings? What are the other towns doing? Do they have constables? And if so, like,
town law, yeah, that's a constable.
where do people find them most useful? Where I'm going with this, I kind of assume that where there's more population, it's easier to get a city police officer somewhere or a
Well, they have
sheriff
more
or
codes enforcement
whoever,
officers.
all that jazz.
They can do this kind of thing.
Right.
And we've had, and I know it's come through here, we've paid for like enhanced police protection, I believe. Now, does that mean that we don't have that, so is there
No.
gonna be less,
No,
tickets? I mean, we just plain end
we
that?
can order that from the Onondaga Sheriff, county sheriff, whenever we want. It's all as need. We're not negating anything.
I mean, I mean, myself, I would wonder what the public thought. Yeah, I would like to,
Well, that would
I'd like to
be
get,
the public
I'd like to
hearing.
have time for input, and that would probably come in a public
Yeah.
hearing, but if there was, if we were gonna do away with that, would the public feel better with it? I know this would probably come up in a public hearing, but, would a public feel better to have a constable that lives in the town that could act quicker on enforcement, or do they feel better having the sheriffs around more? I guess that's kind of, would be my bottom line on it, and it isn't like
Yeah, I
we need
would,
this now today, or we never need this is
I would
discussion.
I would love to put up the resumes of the sheriffs who show up versus the resume of the guy who
We're
wants to be a
not
constable.
debating that
I'm
this guy's
not-
not qualified. That's not what we're saying, is this guy is not
I didn't say
qualified,
that.
okay? This guy could be the most qualified person in the world.
Well, I feel like we're having a
Do you know?
argument, but really,
No,
it's just a
I'm not
discussion about what a constable is
All right,
and
I
what he
think,
is.
And how would he be identified? I mean, how, are we gonna start purchasing uniforms? Are we
Yeah,
gonna have
that's
to have
the
a car with our
uniform.
symbol on it, with red lights and sirens, and, how does this transpire? I mean,
all good questions.
right, that's why we're on the discussion phase.
Dave, can I get clarification on something? So he'll be a town employee, and yet we use him on an as-needed basis. So we don't need to provide benefits or anything.
That you have to talk to your insurance company about that. I think the answer to it is you have to put him on as an employee. And if you are a town employee just on an hourly basis, with no minimum requirement, if you use them for 10 hours in a month, you pay them for 10 hours in a month. If you use them 0 hours in a month, if that's what the agreement is, I think that's, there's nothing wrong with it, but you do have to carry the constable as an employee. And constables are really more of a creature, only really a creature of towns that don't have their own police agencies. So like Manlius, they don't have a constable because they have a police department. So constables are really more of a construct of these types of situations where Lafayette towns that don't have police agencies that have to contract out. And I think what you're talking about, Mark, is only, has nothing to do with the coverage that the town presently has in terms of sheriffs. It only has to do with court dates and the special occasions, if you will, which.
Yeah, I only say court date because using it for court, if we're gonna invest the upfront costs, we might as well utilize them on the courts as well. As opposed to the other, whatever else on the as need.
Does as need, like if somebody has honestly a burglar at their house, can they call them? Or is this just for code stuff? And you might not know the
Yeah,
answer.
I don't know the answer, but perhaps if somebody were to contact one of us or me, I could, on an as-need basis, send them out.
Yeah, I think the answer to your question is, again, and I'll need to look into it further, but a police constable, this is under the Pompey Code, must be sworn and certified as peace officers in accordance with DCJS 6028.8 and Criminal Procedure Law 2.30, paren A. And receive all the training that you would normally get for a police officer. That would lead me to conclude, though I've not done the research on it, that they could enforce the law the same as a sheriff could enforce the law. If somebody came in here during court and, disorderly conduct or something, that they could absolutely arrest them.
Right.
I believe, but
Okay.
again, I need
Yeah, we'd
to
have to find
verify
out.
that.
Could they work, like, if you had, say you had a back here, like, I don't, and you wanted someone in the road to help, somewhere, they were having an event here at the town hall and you needed a little bit of traffic control, would that be something you could do? I'm just
I would
asking.
imagine, we could,
I think the answer is anything that you would call the sheriff to say, you know what, we feel comfortable if we had a sheriff or two there. I think any occasion like that, you would be free to call your employee to say, we want you to be there and we're gonna pay you to be there. Basically is how you should probably look at it.
all right. So we'll table that, more discussion later and more discussion with judges and whoever else. Delphi Falls, we already discussed that, the sign, and that's,
But we do need to add that we wanna waive the zoning fees.
oh, right, yes, so normally any type of signage requires some zoning, fees that we normally pay to the town for that, and I wanna, make a motion
I think it's a good
to
idea.
waive the zoning fees on that, we don't want
Yeah.
our own town paying.
I'll make a motion that we waive the zoning fees associated with sign placement for the Delphi Falls Fire Department.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. For anybody who's been attending the Pompey Historical Society's presentations on the various inns of Pompey over the historic history of the town, they've been very well attended, and another one coming up next week, the 21st, hosted by Ruth Hoteling and the Schramm family. Just wanted to get that out there. This past weekend, just want to, happy to announce that at the tractor pull, they $2,500 was raised for both the Pompey, Vegas Pompey FFA and the 4-H, 2,500 each, and I think it was, let me just get my facts straight here, bear with me, almost $650 for the Pompey Historical Society, and, round 2 of that will be coming up this coming weekend with the rodeo, so hats off to the people there that make that happen and help fund some of our not-for-profits and our important non-for-profits. FFA is Future Farmers of America. I was told this guy should have joined. His dad
It's
would've
a,
wanted
it's
him.
a huge, you know, especially with
Yeah,
the,
right.
with the farm days was, these
Yeah,
same
right.
organizations were making about that same money from the farm days, and it was a very good plug and hole, and it has been, these events have been huge for the local.
And
Yeah.
I'll also add, I think the Pompey Hill Fire Department made out pretty well too with the 50/50 raffle. I don't have the exact amounts, but, so thanks to everybody putting on that event up there. That's great in this coming weekend. Delphi Falls, we have the Community Day coming up this Saturday, right?
Hopefully the weather holds.
The weather will.
What's the times?
So it starts at 11, it's right at the firehouse on Orndale Road. And they're gonna have everything from food to cornhole to, last year we had a lot of vendors come in with crafts and stuff. It's, yeah. Hopefully we have the bounce house this year. I can't remember if they
They're
have
always
that.
ahead.
But it's just a good chance for the community to get together and support.
That really cool magic guy that one time.
Yes, and they are giving rides on fire trucks, Dave, if that's
Just,
what
I
you're looking for.
I can't wait,
Stop
I
down.
can't wait. Wanna put a hat on and go for a ride.
All right, that's awesome, so. And then, just last thing, we're gonna be, I have tentative dates that were similar to last year for the, budget workshop dates. We can amongst ourselves discuss whether those are gonna work or not, but, gotta get the, start sharpening our
Yeah.
pencils next month.
And they're open to the public?
Yes, those are broadcast and open to the public.
Yeah.
And I have to do a legal notice, so as soon as you guys come up with dates and times, I need to post that in the paper.
All right.
Awesome.
Well,
Can we do that?
14th in the
Is everybody good
morning-
with that or
The
not?
14th in the morning should work for me, I have a wedding in that day.
Saturday the 14th.
I like that one too. Is there any
Okay.
other conflicts from anybody on the?
We can do it now, you guys are, I already
Everybody
checked my
14th or
schedule,
no?
so.
I think right now, I'm okay with those
Are
dates.
you good, Bill?
Yep.
Okay,
So in the
Yep.
past, we've done a motion for that, if that's okay.
sure.
I'll be the first one. I'll make a motion for the first tentative, or for the first budget workshop to be September 14th at 9 AM. It's a Saturday.
Okay, I'll
How's the
second
next-
it. Or I can make a motion on the Monday,
we make them
September
together?
Do
30th.
them together, and then
Sure.
just one motion.
But I'll just second that.
All right, any further discussion on that?
We have to do two motions, one motion with
Just
both
do one
dates.
for both, I think
We'll
Then
that's.
you gotta redo it.
September 30th is good for everybody too, or no?
Yes.
All right, so we're making a motion, revising the motion to set two, budget workshop dates. September 14th at 9 in the morning, that's a Saturday, and then a Monday evening, September 30th at 5:30.
Okay, any
Can I
further
say one-
discussion?
Yeah, I just wanna add one thing. As somebody that didn't grow up in this town, it's, I gotta tell you, coming to the history lessons with our community is unbelievable. It's so cool. Everybody comes, you hear stories about what it used to be like and how the community was developed and what was popular and now what isn't there. So anybody that hasn't come, I'd strongly encourage you to come. It's worth your time.
Yeah, and hats off to everybody in the historical society, they do.
They do a great,
Buildings work and they do quality work.
they do a great job.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so
And
motion,
I would like one more attempt at seeing if people here, I had several requests to try to bring the Facebook thing back. And I was and I have looked into it, there are ways to get Facebook without comments. I'm wondering if there's any way we could, this board would reconsider, looking into doing, again, it's not accepting it today, but getting the things together to have the Facebook come back without comments.
personally, I'm open to consideration. The one hesitation I have is we came off a lawsuit that cost the town a lot of money. We're still in the chance to appeal that. We've had been attorneys inquiring, and until that threat of lawsuit dissipates, I'm not comfortable with it.
Yeah, well,
That's
that's why
fine.
they're, our school too, they hired an information resource officer. Even our school's getting a Facebook page, and they're setting it up with no comments, so if the
Yeah,
capabilities are
I'm
there.
open to discussion until the threat of the,
I mean, this is, whatever, I
That's
want to
it.
publicly say I'd like to get it back and I keep trying.
okay. So we did not, carry that motion though.
You did.
We did for the, okay, all right. So I guess motion to adjourn. Okay, wait.
Second it.
Well, we're here for another reason.
We can talk afterwards.
Oh, with the board?
You can talk to individual members.
No, so hold on,
Oh,
so what is the subject for town or?
Yeah, it's a neat story. You're gonna be getting some free things.
Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't on the,
Not on his agenda,
it's not on
so
the agenda. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Can we talk?
Absolutely. Come on up. I'm sorry. I had no, you gotta let me know.
Why did you say
I just
free?
thought you were here
Why
to see her.
did you say free? It is free. I know. Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, this is great, right?
Oh, this
We
is phenomenal.
discussed it before.
Many years ago, when I first started, about 12 years ago, we made an application. It's called JCAP. And it's a program that goes out to all the justice courts in the state, and it gives them the opportunity to request $30,000 grant. You can do whatever you want with. Well, I couldn't get it through their head, the board's head, that there was no, they thought they were gonna have to pay for it. And I said, no, it's a grant. Well, they didn't understand it, and we never got the application in on time. The next two probably were not sent in appropriately or properly, but this time it was. And we were notified back, I think in March, that we were given roughly $5,000 to purchase some things that we had requested. We requested some new seats, and I'm gonna tell you something, sitting in this seat for this period of time, everybody can do it.
And I've seen the new seats in the catalog. They look awesome.
Well, the problem is, you may have some people falling asleep in here.
They look great.
But we got 50 of those, and they'll be coming in a couple of weeks. We've already gotten the shelving that we needed in there, because we've got stuff on desks and cabinets. And we're getting, and this should put a smile on everybody's face, a podium on wheels, so you can move it around.
Really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's beautiful, more money than I would have spent, but you'll be able to use it. So those three things were requested by us, and I've got to tell you, along with Judge Renee Rotundo, Alma, even Nikki, everybody helped. It was a gift that got here as a result of the efforts of a lot of people. So there it is. Hopefully next year we're gonna ask for a little bit more, but you should be seeing that podium in a week or two.
Thanks for your efforts. That's awesome.
Thanks, Ralph.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You too as well.
I don't know, it was.
We're lucky to have
It was
awesome
awesome,
judges here too.
and you wanna talk about, I don't know how we're gonna do it in Washington. It's so confusing when you ask the government for money, it is just remarkable. There's form after form after form. God bless Alma. If she wasn't here, we wouldn't have gotten it. And Renee, God bless her for putting a lot of hours even after, she was done with the supervisor. So everybody deserves it.
Well, thanks for continuing
Yeah,
to
thanks for
apply
the
to
work.
get the money in. Thankfully it worked.
We will, and we can get up to $30,000, so hopefully next year. And if you guys see anything that we can kind of, not disguise, but say, you know, it's both for the court and the town,
Right.
let us know. 'Cause
Okay.
We can get that stuff.
Sounds good.
Again, thank you very much.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay, can I make a motion to adjourn now?
All right. I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All right.
Further discussion,
No.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.